Man, I'm still bored for good. My parents keep getting me ungrounded these days. What should I do when Mr. Hernandez and Ms. Green goes to court? Wait, I know what I'll do. I am going to call 911 so Mr. Hernandez and Ms. Green is a teacher abuse. Ah, yes. Hello there 911. I need help. Please come quick. I need help. My teachers are abusing me and unlocked in my room since my parents are ungrounding me. Help 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 help. Oh well, thank you. I'll stay the phone until the police arrive.
When the police arrived,
Man, it's such a wonderful day today. Maybe we can go for a walk to the park.
Hello Ms. Green and Mr. Hernandez.
Hello, Kaylau.
Hello, Caillou. It's nice to see you. Oh my gosh. I think it's the police.
Let's better hide somewhere.
stop right there. You guys are both under arrest for the child abuse. Get in the police car right now.
At the court. Court is now in first session. So we're going in the record of the multiple family and teachers in the entire world, who converted with their own business privileges and elevated trademarking marketing information resources like animations, Anderson's family and some teachers who didn't want to introduce themselves in the order of court. Okay, Mr. Hernandez and Ms. Green, how do you plead?
I plead guilty.
I plead guilty too.
Okay, now I call Kaylau's grandpa to the stand.
So, our grateful teachers are the death penalty, which is sent from his own wife's family, and calling Kaylau's parents to the court, which is not accurate to the first people's jail cell from the poverty. And this means they will also introduce the jail cell for a long time like a Lee Judge did. Thank you, Lee Judge.
You are welcome, grandpa's parents. Now I call Kaylau to the stand.
In this whole situation, so they've also retarded even a longer time to associate with their teacher's family, and the problem is solving the bad situation about proving pleading guilty or not, and somehow of that, drinking water is a furious health situation that makes helpful and more dioxin and putting shampoo during the shower time, which is very anti-dioxic and makes people better sleep. So, thank you very much about the speech, Judge Lee.
Okay, Kaylau, now I call Rosie to the stand.
So, in this direct speech, the child abuse tries to continue even long time, which is not allowed for marketing the first allowance from using to build the first workshop penalties. Likely a childhood to enforce using the shower using shampoo and are dioxant, and not helpful to each other when they took a nap after taking a rest or tired. This is not applicable for everyone without making conversations for people, who met this speech about our court about Mr. Hernandez and Ms. Green was guilty or not. That is the end of speech, guys. Thank you very much, Judge Lee.
You're welcome, Rosie. Now I call Daisy to the stand.
After they made some furious situation to ask, there was a problem using the machine to put clean or dirty clothes in the washing machine, because somehow that, ending this moment from the direct non-stop speech, problems will cause more trouble like classic Rosie, because they did both problems incorrect, and they also making themselves furious things cry. And I am disappointed at guys because Caillou made a child abuse to Mr. Hernandez and Ms. Green's whole entire students and it's getting more aggravating, bud. That's the end of speech. Non-stop. Thank you so much, Judge Lee.
You're welcome, Daisy. Now I call Doris to the stand.
Look everybody, didn't you guys knew my son brother Dalo just taken to the hospital to take an x-ray and taking them away to the ER machine for taking his surgery, because his leg was broken and got Mr. Hernandez a child abuse, because it's absolutely illegal for Kalo, and our family and children wastes time for introducing the first magazine in the entire world business family. And also that's the end of the speech. Thank you very much for my speech, Judge Lee.
You're welcome, Doris. Now I call Boris to the speech.
So guys, didn't they know everyone is not fair at all? Biak is all of its fault. Probably I know everyone is not reduced to get Ms. Green and Mr. Hernandez guilty. I know that no one will use dioxin conditions which it takes a shower for a long time for using the restroom. Not even a tiny time, not taking more often, using more probability information, not reducing any movement investigations, and getting more trouble before arrested for stealing things in the supermarket. That is the end of the speech. Thank you very much, Judge Lee, for the convenience.
You're welcome, Boris. Now I call Cody to the stand.
So we know that is the illegal condition I've ever had this time. Somehow of that, I don't access the artificial intelligence language model, which is not applicable for Caillou's grandparents and their family, and telling the truth is the first legendary punishments in the entire universe, which is not applicable for everyone. They will not listen for drinking water in any illegal introduction, if they plead guilty or not guilty for nothing, and somehow of that, taking speech is the most reliable thing I do this life. That is the end of the speech. Non-stop. Thank you very much, Judge Lee.
You're welcome and great job, Cody, and now I call Gina to the stand.
Today is the day who didn't care about any previous condition which is not applicable for taking shower from the body dioxide and carbon oxygen phase, and watching any body and leg condition for his brother Dayu, who called the ambulance and taken Dayu to the hospital, and gets his x-ray and surgery for the ER medicines. And the body cam is not doing well as soon as possible when the child abuse retarded as soon as possible. Which is not allowed for making an allowance for drinking water for whole staff and privileges elevated for anyone else who wishes to make his own conversation to apply these agreements and terms of conditions, which is not previously included with their own business managements, and his brother Cody, Classic Caillou. Caillou has started the personal information technology, and his teacher named Mr. Hernandez and Ms. Green was guilty or not, and they said plead guilty in the beginning of the primary session. And his death penalty reaches from his execution midnight for getting popcorns ready and some circumstances are dead. Which is not allowed to introduce themselves in the order of the court in the web process accessibility, because it was likely never before served time with his own family, everyone made serious, cry and angry. This is the end of speech, non-stop. Thank you very much for the speech, Judge Lee.
You're welcome for making the actual speech, Gina. Now I call Principal Tony to the stand.
In this court secondary session, this time Mr. Hernandez and Ms. Green started to achieve this bad information for making alternative condition, which is not allowed to make any bad stuff for everyone, and which is starting the execution of midnight, so Ms. Green and Emma Hernandez will not be able to get execution on midnight, so because when I was saying getting his brother Caillou unbelievable cry, and this is not allowed for everyone for making the first allowance conversation access. That is the end of speech, non-stop. Thank you very much for the speech, Judge Lee.
You're welcome for making the most speech in the world, Principal Tony. Now I call Miss Martin to the stand.
I knew that I heard everyone that Dalo's leg was broken, because he took an ambulance to the hospital to get an x-ray for his bones and the ER safety medicine for taking his time for the surgery. Now Classic Caillou and Caillou did not realize how beautiful I am, and I really appreciate that since everyone joined to the reliable court this afternoon for getting every time recess and lunch break. And this is not introduced for everyone for making introductions for Cody, Caillou and Classic Caillou. This is the end of speech, non-stop. Thank you very much for the speech, Judge Lee.
You're welcome for making the best speech, Miss Martin. Now I call Lily to the stand.
So, everyone did they heard someone was guilty at all for no reason and nothing, because Mr. Hernandez and Ms. Green did large mistakes for taking his students' homework from school to their house, and directly I knew I've ever heard it was making noise all around the school corridor and hallways, which is very illegal to make inappropriate and violent conditions, and making his drink smell water, and somehow problems will not making them investigation behind the way to the work. And also, this is the end of the speech, non-stop. Thank you very much for the conversation speech, Judge Lee.
Great job for making speech, and also you're welcome, Lily. Now I'll call Elena Marquez to the stand.
Today, except for Mr. Hernandez, Ms. Green was caught by Kailu's parents sent to here in the court, which is a child and teacher's abuse. Somehow like that, nobody will no longer be allowed to introduce themselves in the whole entire government in the citizen, except for Katie and Kailu, and also except for Delu. He's taken to the ambulance straight to the hospital to check his x-ray and his medicine and his surgery because of child abuse, and his leg was broken, the accident and their own lives. This is the end of speech, non-stop. Thank you very much for the speech, Judge Lee.
Very good job, and you're most welcome, Elena Marquez. Now I call Dora to the stand.
Even though someone heard that loud noises at school hallway, it was the straight line in the school corridor coming annoying noises from Mrs. Chrstina's classroom. I wish Mommy and Poppy heard a great wonderful day at school, and Miss Green and Mr. Hernandez, and except for everyone, we will not be allowed to introduce their introduction for every children like learning and studying at school, drinking water, pushing sugar, and pushing chocolates. And except for Kalo, Doris said go to your room now. For nothing at all wanted. This is the end of speech, non-stop. Thank you so much, Judge Lee.
You're welcome, Dora. The court is now over. You guys are both right. You plead guilty because of your child abuse. Police officer, you can guys now take them away to jail.
This is your jail cell. You both guys will stay here until your child abuse is done. Goodbye.